In this video, we're going to talk about what intuition is. I mean, have you ever felt a nudge within you to either say yes or no to something? Have you ever known something to be true before you actually knew it to be true? These are all examples of your intuition. And in today's video series, I should say, because this is going to be a video series, we're going to be talking about intuition. How to connect with intuition, what is intuition, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the very last thing I just said, what is intuition? Because the truth is, we all have it. We just don't all know how to recognize it. And in today's video, we're going to have 3 messages about intuition and how to connect in. Hi guys, my name is Heather Ness. I'm an intuitive and a numerologist, and on this channel, we talk about how to understand ourselves on the deepest way possible and the world around us. So if that is what you're interested in, or that is what you're all about, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And also share this video with someone you feel is either interested in intuition, curious on how to connect in with their intuition, or you feel like they need to connect with their intuition. So make sure you share it with someone that's special. Also, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you put a thumbs up on the video. That really helps me. I just want to send you all a lot of love for doing that. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about intuition. In today's video, like I said a moment ago, we are going to be discussing 3 messages that I have about intuition. And I first want to talk about what is intuition. Intuition is a way to connect in with your soul, with your inner knowing, with your inner compass or guidance. And the truth is that we all have intuition. And I always thought my whole life, I didn't think I was intuitive. I didn't think I had a deep intuition. And the truth is I didn't know how to trust it. And many times I didn't know how to recognize it. And once I realized how to recognize my intuition and how to trust my intuition, it became so much stronger, and it truly shifted my life in such a beautiful way. And so in this series, we're going to be talking about intuition and how you can connect in and recognize your own intuition. And I'm super excited about this. I actually just got back from a family vacation with my family. We went to the Portland area to visit a family friend, and I had a few days to really be out in nature, and I went to beautiful waterfalls and rose gardens and Japanese gardens and everything nature. And when I got back, I just knew that I needed to talk about intuition. And I really feel like this is something that we're all being called to. And we're all being asked to really connect in with our soul and our higher purpose. And the first way to begin doing that is to first recognize your intuition. And so let me share 3 messages I got when I was speaking to my higher self about intuition that I can't wait to share with you. So this is going to be message number 1. The first message I really want to share about intuition is, first of all, that we all have it. There is a misconception that only special people are born with intuition, and not everyone has intuition or psychic abilities or whatever you want to call it, gut feelings. All of these beautiful things all mean the same thing. And the truth is that we are all born with the birthright to intuition, the birthright to having an inner compass that we can ask for guidance from and know that we can trust it because it always has our highest and greatest good in its hand. And that is such a beautiful gift and such a beautiful thing to know, is to first know that you are intuitive. You have intuition inside you, and you have an inner guidance that is really asking to be called on and trusted. And the biggest thing I got when it comes to this message is that it's like a muscle. You know, when we work out, our muscles get stronger, they get more defined. Being able to lift something heavy becomes much easier. And this is the same idea with intuition, is the more you use it, the more the muscle you use, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the key is that you've got to begin to use it. Now, the key with intuition is that it is soft. And sometimes it will give us an answer that we didn't really want, right? And so then we begin to second guess it or triple guess it, and then we don't trust it and we don't move forward with our intuition or our initial thoughts. I mean, have you ever had a time when you thought to yourself, asked yourself a question, maybe it's a yes or no question, should I try this, should I not do this, should I take this job, should I not take this job? And there was a part of you that just really wanted the job. And then there's another part of you that was hesitating with that job. And you really, really wanted it, so you ignored the hesitation. And then as you move forward into this new, let's say, job, and that's just an example, you may have a different one that comes to mind. But the moment you move forward into this thing, you say to yourself, I wish I would have listened to myself. I wish I would have listened, right? We've all had moments of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of beginning to understand what intuition is, and if we recognize it in that way. And so the biggest thing, the number one message I got, the first message I got, I should say, is that you have to begin using it. And then the second part to that is you have to begin trusting it, even when it gives you an answer that you didn't want. So, in our hearts or in our human side, there are outcomes that we would want, that we think is like the best, right? And the truth is that our intuition knows what is truly of our highest and greatest good. And sometimes we can't see the trees through the forest, right? All we see is the forest, we don't see the individual trees, and our intuition knows the way. And so the more you begin to first call on your intuition, asking for guidance, and then you begin to trust that intuition and moving forward with that guidance, this is like doing reps at a gym. It's going to build this muscle and this connection. And know that you have it, you always have it, and you can always call on it. It never goes away. It just becomes more commonplace for yourself to be able to connect in and know that your intuition is speaking to you. So the second message I got is really about how to trust the guidance that you do get. To expand on the second message that I got, which was sort of the ending of the first one, is that you want to view, your intuition as something that you can call on, that you can ask questions to, that you can ask guidance from. And the more you ask guidance from, because this is the thing, in our 3D human world, we have what's called freedom of choice, right? We have free will. And even though your higher self, your guardian angels, your spirit guides are there waiting to assist you, to help you create the life of your dreams, to help live into your soul's purpose, to have a more magical and beautiful life than you could ever imagine, the key is, and the magic is, that it isn't forceful. They won't force you down a road, and they won't give you advice necessarily unless, sometimes we get advice coming in, so I should say this, that's urgent, and maybe it's life and death type of situation, right? Sometimes we'll get these intuitive hits. I, thank God, have never had to have that, but it is sometimes we'll get those things. But for the most part, your guides, your spirit team are there to help you when you want the help, but they're not there to make you do things or guide you in a way that you don't want to go. The truth is that your soul did choose certain paths in your lifetime. And, when you chose to be here, your soul chose like the most easy path, or the most, kind of like, if I just coast through my life, this is where I'll end up. And it will hit some of the lessons, and it will hit a little bit of the path or the soul's purpose. And then there's a more like, if I really connect in, if I begin to follow these little nudges, I could be on this next path, which will have more spiritual growth and more soul's purpose achieved, right? More lessons learned. And then there's the highest aligned path. And that is, of course, going to hit all the outcomes that we set to have in this lifetime. And so, long story short, ultimately, it is your freedom of choice. And the key with this is that you need to ask for guidance. If you want to connect in with your intuition, you want guidance from your spirit team, your angelic team, your higher self, you have to begin to ask for the guidance. And then also, move forward with what they give you. So let's talk about, intuition and how we may get answers from our spirit team, because they don't always necessarily speak directly. And many times, there's another little misconception with intuition, is that we're gonna hear voices or see things. It doesn't necessarily work in that way. It could be seeing things, but not like a ghost speaking to you. It could be that you're seeing a word that stands out on a piece of paper that just sort of calls you, right? It's just a word that when you look down, that word stood out. That is a way your intuition speaks to you. That is seeing your things. For example, when I was beginning to connect very deeply about 2 years ago with my intuition and, my spiritual higher calling, I was asking myself a question, should I ask this person to be a mentor in numerology? And this person doesn't do classes necessarily, but they're a world-renowned numerologist that I got a book of, right? And so I also ended up getting a reading from this numerologist. Anyways, long story short, I was asking if I should ask this person to, be my mentor and to learn numerology. And I was getting in my car and I looked down to put my purse down on the chair next to me, and there was a piece of paper that I'd put the night before, and my purse covered all of the words except for one word, and that word was this person's name. And it isn't like a name, the name is Joy, right? Her name is Joy. And that is the only word, the word that was on the piece of paper that I had put in my car the night before, didn't realize it was there, put my purse down, and that word was the only word not covered up. That was my intuition speaking to me, my spirit team speaking to me in a way that I could see it. When you talk about intuition, your intuition will begin to speak back to you when you ask it questions in many different ways. For example, just like I gave you, you may see a word on, a piece of paper that really stands out. You may see a word on a sign that stands out. You may hear lyrics in a song that you've heard 1,000 times and never paid no attention to. All of a sudden, this word or this phrase or this series of lyrics are really standing out to you. These are all ways that your intuition is answering your question. There's other ways, if you begin to use tools like tarot or oracle cards, they can also speak to you in that way. I prefer oracle cards. Just for me personally, tarot requires some study. You need to understand the different suits and all the different things along with it. And I do have a couple tarot decks, but I am most comfortable when I need a quick answer with my oracle cards, because they seem to be able to give me that answer right away and I don't have to look it up. I like tarot if it's a more complicated or complex question, because there's more of a story message that can unfold with tarot. That can also fold with oracle cards, but not maybe as easily. And so the key with this is you've got to be open to receiving the message, and know that the message may not be the initial message or the answer that you wanted, right? And also you may get the feeling, or you may get your answer by your body. You may feel a certain way. You might feel butterflies in your stomach, and you might interpret that as excitement, or you might interpret that as being nervous or scared, right? Butterflies can mean a few different things. You have to ask yourself in this moment, what does that feeling mean to you? Is it butterflies, excited butterflies, like you're excited, nervous, or are you nervous, scared, right? The other way it may speak to you is you may feel a certain body part kind of light up. I know that when I'm really in my moment and I'm gelling and I'm going into my personal, for me, I know that I'm going down the road of my highest calling. I feel this activation within my heart chakra. I feel it almost like radiating or expanding, in some way in my heart chakra, and that is my signal to myself that I am moving in the right direction. That is just one of the ways your body may speak to you, right? And so you might get a message in a movie or in a TV series that you're watching. You can get your messages in many different ways. It could be an angel number. It could be seeing a butterfly. The beautiful thing is that if you just ask for the message, you will get an answer. And also, you can ask for specific things. I have asked for, sometimes when I'm asking something that I feel I want to have like a very correct answer to, I might ask for a specific sign. And what's so cool is sometimes I'll see that sign like within minutes of me asking for it. And other times I don't see it right away. I might see it later that night or the next day. And just because you don't get the answer right away doesn't mean that you're not going to get an answer, or that, your guidance is not there, or that you're not connected with your intuition. Sometimes you have to ask it more than once, or you have to really tap into, like, maybe they're asking you, reminding you that you hold the power and it's your choice. So key is the more you connect in with your intuition, ask for the guidance, the more your intuition will begin to bloom, the more it will come out, and the more you'll recognize those things. So the key with intuition is you got to ask for the guidance and then allow that guidance to come through. Now let's talk about message number 3. The third message is all about trust. When it comes to intuition, and really expanding or strengthening your intuition, is that you have to trust the guidance that you're given. The more you trust it and the more you move forward in that trust, the more you're going to connect and the more it's going to strengthen, right? And so now let's talk about that. What I wrote here when I was getting this last message, it says your intuition ignites when you trust it. When you follow it, the more you follow and trust your intuition, the more you will get. So the more messages you'll get, the more you follow it. Sometimes your intuition, your spirit team, gives you little breadcrumbs, and we're like, I don't want breadcrumbs. I want to see the end. I want every step. I want to know exactly which way I'm going. I want to know everything right now. And intuition doesn't always do that, partly because even though we as a human are like, I can handle it, I'm ready for it, it's something that I'm excited to do, I need to know all the steps, our higher soul, our oversoul, our higher self knows us better, right? And sometimes knows that if it gives you all of the path, it may be too much at one time, and maybe we'll get a sense of overwhelm and then freeze up and not move forward. So know that your higher self, your spirit team, is giving you what you need to know right now to make the right choice, to move forward in your most aligned, high vibe life possible. Just know that it may not be the entire path, because the whole path is truly our whole lifetime. And the guidance that you need right now is just for that one thing, just to get you moving. And the more you trust it and you move forward with the guidance that you got, even if it wasn't the initial desire that you wanted, the more guidance you're going to receive, and the clearer your messages will be. It's just so beautiful. The key with this is it's okay to ask for confirmation. It reminds me of a time, sometimes sometimes we just really want something. We really want something. We want it for a long time. For example, I myself have always felt very drawn to Egypt. I learned about it, I want to say in 2nd or 3rd grade. And I have always felt a deep connection to Egypt. And I was put in a position where I could financially afford to go on a retreat to Egypt this year, earlier in the year. And I wanted to go so bad, but a part of me felt like it wasn't the right time. But I really, really, really wanted to go because I've always wanted to go, right? And I just know that when I do go to Egypt, I'm going to really connect with many past lifetimes. Anyways, I was asking my oracle deck, one of my oracle decks that I feel my higher self really speaks to me through, and I feel a deep connection to this oracle deck in my higher self. And so I was asking the question, should I be going on this trip? And this was a few months ago. Now, I've used this oracle deck. I've probably had it for at least 6 months or more up to that point, maybe 6 to 8 months, and I've been using it regularly. And I had never gotten this card ever in all of the months using it, and I've used it at least 100 times or more. And the card that, as I'm shuffling the cards, that literally fell out and fell on top of my hand, like it fell out and landed on top of my hand, like as I'm holding the cards. It landed just like this, and it was literally just one word, no. And I was asking, should I be going to Egypt? Should I do this trip to Egypt? And I know in my deep heart that I will go eventually, right? And that was not the answer I wanted. I did not want the answer no. I also was shocked by it because I've never gotten this card before. I didn't realize that a card that just had one word no on it was even in the oracle deck. And the way it landed on my hand, it was like literally over top of the deck, because I was holding the deck here, and it flipped up and landed on my hand. I was in shock by it. I was also a bit disappointed, right? Because I really wanted to go. And I was in a position where I could afford to go. And so I'm like, why not? And I actually was a little like upset with the message. And so I put the cards away and I walked away. And the next day, and the reason I'm saying this, it's okay to ask for confirmation. You just have to be open to the answer that you get, even if it's not what you want. And also, if you ask for confirmation, you ask for it one time. You don't ask for it 50 times to try and get the answer you really want. If you want confirmation to the answer that you got, saying if this is really meant to be my answer, then it's okay to ask a second time, but be comfortable with whatever comes through. So the next morning I got up and I'm like, okay, I had my cup of coffee. I'm like, I'm gonna go do it again. I said to myself, I'm gonna go check again. I wanna make sure, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was just like, it just flipped out, right? So maybe it wasn't meant to be. I asked the question again the very next morning, and I'm shuffling the cards. Now, mind you, I've had this deck for like 6 or 8 months. I use it almost daily, at least every other day. And I have never gotten this card except for that night before. And so I'm shuffling it, and the card flips out again. A card flips out in the middle of my shuffle, falls on the table in front of me, and it's again just the card that says no. And so in that moment, I knew in my heart it wasn't the right time for whatever reason, and that it will be my time eventually. And this is part of trusting your intuition. And I will tell you that it was a good thing I didn't go, because I had some work stuff come up and I wanted to make sure that I could continue making some beautiful videos. So it worked out well that I didn't go at that time, and I didn't know in the moment why I was being told no, right? But long story short, you've got to trust your intuition. And the more you trust it, even if it doesn't give you the answer that you want, know that your higher self, your guidance, when you're asking for guidance to be in your highest and greatest good, to bring you in the direction that your soul is meant to go, the guidance you receive will be in alignment to that. And so the key is that your soul sometimes knows a little bit better. And, they see the whole path, not just the little bit that you're seeing right now. And so sometimes by you trusting your intuition, you might end up in a place that is way better than you ever envisioned. You might end up in a career that is more aligned and soul activating than you could have ever imagined by following these little crumbs, these little things that your soul gives you, these little guidances that your soul gives you. When you trust it, your soul and your life will literally transform into the most beautiful way. I will tell you, in the last 2 years since I've been really connecting in with my intuition, my life has become so much more beautiful. And in a way that, like, when I say beautiful, it isn't like necessarily something that someone else could see. If they're looking from the out looking in, they might view my life as pretty much the same. But I internally feel so much more alive and excited and enthusiastic about what is happening. And and I'm here sharing this story with you. So, long story short, the key is that, you know, when you follow your guidance, it brings you to a beautiful, beautiful life. And so if you're excited about this series about your intuition, what is intuition, how to connect with your intuition, then make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, because this is the first video in my series. It's like a 9-video series I'm going to do on intuition and how to recognize, connect in, and strengthen your intuition. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you are notified next time I post another video about intuition. I just want to send you a ton of love. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here and watching my video. See you in the next video.